Hey guys, I have a Discord server. You guys should totally join our community. I'm also really active on Twitch as well as social media like Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. If you guys want to follow me and stay up to date with everything, check out all the links in the description down below. And I guess enjoy the video.
Today I'm going to be going over the top 10 best knives in CSGO. Now, a lot of these knives are, some of them are affordable, but some of them are ridiculously expensive. So basically, top 10 knives in CSGO, in my opinion. Hope you guys enjoy. Hey, what's up guys, it's Tuber here and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're back with a top 10 list about the top 10 knives in CSGO basically. These are all in my opinion, like I said before. You know, if your list is a little bit different, feel free to leave a comment down below with your top 10 list. And you know what, that's my challenge for you guys. Leave a comment down below with your top 10 favorite knives in CSGO, or your top 5 or whatever. If you're too lazy, it's all good. Because I just want to see what your favorite knives are, honestly. Oh, by the way, this is, I guess it's somewhat similar to a video I made about a month ago, but that one was like the ultimate knife guide for every budget. This one's just the best knives in CSGO. So there's the difference. It's not the same video, it's different, okay? Anyways, let's get into the list. At the number 10 spot is the Karambit Crimson Web Factory New. I would have put this up higher up on the list, but I don't really like it that much. I mean, obviously it's a really sick knife and these are very valuable, especially in Factory New because they're so rare. But honestly, dude, because of their rarity, they actually kind of suffer from not having super duper low float. So you can't have a flawless corner one. Like all the corners always have scratches on them. So that's one of the biggest thing that kind of bugs me. On top of all that, I mean, it's a cool looking skin, but like it's like a Spider-Man skin basically. It's so childlike. I mean, it's a sick knife, but I wouldn't really put it up. I wouldn't put it any higher on this list, in my opinion. Next up is the M9 Bayonet Autotronic, and this one is actually very similar to the Crimson Web in the fact that it has a lot of red on it, but it's completely different. How is it different? It has some silver on it. I mean, honestly, the Autotronic is a really sick skin, and the fact that it's on an M9 Bayonet is a plus too, because the M9 Bayonet is one of the biggest knives in the game. That's what she said. It looks so cool though. That's why the Autotronic deserves to be next up on my list. Next up is the Butterfly Knife Tiger Tooth Factory New, and of course, I had to throw at least some sort of tiger tooth on this list because I'm such a huge fan of like tiger teeth, and in my opinion, I think the Butterfly Knife is the best. Also, there aren't any other butterfly knives on this list, so it's kind of, yeah, you know. But the Butterfly Knife Tiger Tooth is probably one of the it's probably one of the sickest knives. It's like for $400 in the game by far. There's not too much I can really say about the Butterfly Knife Tiger Tooth other than it looks pretty dang cool. Next up, we have a really crazy skin that probably should be a little bit higher up on this list, but it's not. It's not. Next up is the M9 Bayonet Case Hardened, but it's the #1 pattern. The pattern index is number 601, and this is also called the Oceano pattern. That's what Anomaly called it. Yeah, it is the #1 pattern M9 Bayonet blue gem in the game, and these are worth quite a bit of money. To get one in like field tested, it's going to cost you over $5,000, so they're not exactly cheap. And the biggest downside to this knife is the fact that it's not all blue. The entire play side isn't all blue. Like, see the tip right there? It's like grayish. And then also on the bottom, there's a lot of yellow there. So I feel like if there was just a little bit more blue, it would be a lot better. But yeah, unfortunately, it's missing a lot of blue. It still is an insane skin and they go for a lot of money. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it sucks. I'm just saying it could be better. Next up is the Karambit Fade 9010. And obviously, you know, I could have just put regular Karambit Fades, but I wanted to put the #1 pattern on there just because why not, right? Like, we're not just going for broad skins, we're going for like the best patterns for the best skins. Like, we're doing rubies, sapphires, Dopplers. Like, if we're gonna put blue gems, we might as well do the #1 pattern Karambit Fade. So yeah, it would be a 100% fade or a 90-10. Basically, the thing that makes a Karambit Fade a 90-10 is if it has 90% pink and 10% yellow and no purple. A fake 90-10 actually has a little bit of purple on it, but a real 90-10 has basically no purple. These go for about $1,000 plus on CS Money. Like, they can be pretty expensive, especially if you want one with a good corner. But honestly though, this is just a classic skin, and it was, I think a couple years ago, this was probably one of the most well-known skins, the Karambit Fade. All right, next up is the Karambit Emerald. And much like the Karambit Fade, this is also a Karambit, obviously. And this skin was actually introduced in 2016 with the Gamma case. And the thing that makes it so cool is the fact that it's basically just a Karambit. It's a Karambit Doppler or a Karambit Gamma Doppler, but it's all green. Instead of having like a weird pattern, it's just 100% green on both sides. That's pretty much it. It's a green Karambit. But these are very, very rare. These are 10 times rarer than regular Gamma Dopplers, which are much rarer than normal Dopplers because Gamma cases aren't nearly as popular as Chroma cases. And these actually are worth more than rubies and sapphires too. So yeah, out of the Dopplers, the emerald is the most expensive, but you don't really see them that often just because they're so high tier. Next up is the Karambit Marble Fade Fire and Ice. And this, I mean, there's a bunch of different patterns obviously for this. And like, this is such a broad thing. Like there's multiple different patterns. Like there's so many different pattern indexes that have fire and ices. Basically a Karambit Marble Fade is supposed to have red, blue, and yellow, but a fire and ice is basically one with only red and blue with no yellow whatsoever on it. If it has a little tiny bit of yellow on it, it's a fake fire and ice. But if it's a real one, then, well, it's worth over $1,000. So yeah, these are, they're not cheap. This is by far one of my favorite knives in the game. Like if I didn't have my blue gem and if I didn't have like a bunch of other knives, I would definitely use this as my main play knife just because it looks so cool. When you really break it down, it's basically a ruby and a sapphire if they had a baby, basically. But genuinely though, this is probably one of my favorite Karambits in the game that's under like $2,000, because there's some, like, if you want to get a second max, they're closer to $2,000. They're pretty pricey. And a first max, the #1 pattern fire and ice, they're a lot of money. There's actually been one on CS Money for like the last year, but it's been $3,400 and it has the worst corner. I don't think anyone's gonna want to pay that much. Next up is the Karambit Sapphire, just another classic skin. When you think of like super high tier skins that only like rich people can afford, you think of like rubies and sapphires, preferably the sapphire because it's more expensive. And that's pretty much the reason why I put the sapphire next up on this list, just because it's a blue Karambit. I remember the Karambit Sapphire was the first sapphire, or the first like really high tier skin that I ever owned, and I was like so happy to have it. And then I think I ended up selling it like 2 days later because something like unexpected happened basically, and I needed the money to buy a new one. Oh yeah, I remember. I got the Karambit Sapphire, then 2 days later I raged and broke my monitor and I had to sell it to buy a new one. Yeet. But honestly though, the Karambit Sapphire is one of the most beloved skins in the game, and it's for a pretty good reason. It's a dope looking skin and it's blue. What else can you say about it? Like when people see sapphires, they always freak out, like 80% of the time when they know what it is. Next up, we have a very special skin on this list, and it's actually a very rare knife. Next up is basically any of the #1 pattern Teleknife blue gems. I believe there's 4 with 100% blue, and actually Anomaly has one of them. So next up is Anomaly's Teleknife blue gem. And don't get me wrong, it's a really cool skin, but its biggest downside is the fact that the corner right there, you see that little area that I'm zooming in on right now? It has some yellow on it. That's the only thing that really bugs me about it. But I mean, other than that though, it's a really sick skin. But in my honest opinion, I don't think Teleknives are ever going to be worth nearly as much as Karambits, just because, well, the Karambits have been out since the game came out, and the Teleknife blue gems are pretty much brand new. I mean, over time, more and more people are going to unbox them, which, like, they're just going to keep going down in price. Like, at least with the Karambit blue gems, there aren't that many, like, really high tier blue gem patterns, so they're not that rare. That gives a point to the Teleknives. Anomaly's Teleknife blue gem is still insane. It's like an $8,000 skin. He paid $8,000 for it, which is just insane for a skin, and it's a blue gem. What else can I say? It's also a Teleknife too, so it's one of the new knives. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. And at the #1 spot is, of course, you know it, the #1 Karambit blue gem, number 387. That's the pattern index, and that's the one that I have. So yeah, of course I'm super biased. Of course I'd put my knife on this list, but genuinely the reason why I'm putting it on this list is because it's honestly the sickest knife in CSGO. Nothing comes even close. All right, I guess Anomalies is kind of close, but it's worth about half the price. And the cool thing about the Karambit's blue gem is the fact that it's basically 100% blue on the play side, with a couple little pixels missing, but that's about it. Also, one thing that I didn't mention about Anomalies Teleknife is the ring where you basically put your finger in. Like, the ring is basically all yellow. At least with mine, there's a little bit of blue on it. I'm just acting like a child, like, no, mine's better because of this. And they're both sick knives, and like, anybody would be lucky to own either a Teleknife or a Karambit blue gem regardless. So yeah, that's basically it. That's my list for the top 10 best knives in CSGO according to my personal preferences. And let me know what you guys think. Like, what's your top 10 favorite knives in the game, or your top 3 or 5, whatever. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, subscribe, click that bell icon. And if you watched the video all the way until the end, leave a comment saying hashtag my favorite knife is blank. And make sure you leave obviously your favorite knife or your top 5 or your top 10. Do that in the form of a hashtag, and I'll do my best to try to give you guys a heart. And just overall, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on Twitch tomorrow, and it's Turbo, and I'm out. Peace.